Brat thought marrying a millionaire hair mogul was her ultimate fairy tale, until her own sister, LisaRaye McCoy, went on live television and ripped the entire veil off Judy Depart's past. LisaRaye didn't just throw subtle shade. She dropped a direct bomb, publicly reminding the world that before Judy was calling herself Brat's wife, she built an entire life, had 3 children, and spent decades in high-profile relationships with men. Imagine sitting on the set of Cocktails with Queens, watching your own blood sister bypass your private phone line to air out your spouse's history in front of hundreds of thousands of viewers. The embarrassment was raw, cold, and instant. LisaRaye publicly admitted she found out about Brat and Judy's major life milestones, from the engagement to the pregnancy plans, through the shade room instead of her own family. That wasn't just a communication breakdown, it was a brutal public execution of trust. When LisaRaye questioned how a woman who spent her entire adult life with men suddenly sprinted down the aisle with a female rap icon, she forced Brat into an impossible corner. Was Judy genuinely in love, or was this the ultimate brand consolidation for Kaleidoscope hair products? The tension peaked when Brat was forced to go on the Ricky Smiley morning show and physically defend her wife's past against her own sister's words. But here is the terrifying reality. LisaRaye didn't just speak out of jealousy or spite. She claimed she saw specific red flags in Judy's intentions that Brat was too blinded by love to notice. And if you think a sister's public call-out is as bad as it gets, wait until you see the exact behind-the-scenes contract shift that forced Brat to choose between her sister's legacy and her wife's millions. To understand why this family war exploded on live television, you have to follow the paper trail and the timeline of Judy Depart's rise to power. Long before Judy ever stepped into Brat's universe, she was a relentless force in New Orleans, building Kaleidoscope hair products from the ground up into a multi-million-dollar empire. She wasn't an obscure figure. She was a prominent entrepreneur, a mother of 3 children from past relationships with men, and someone whose entire personal life had been rooted in heteronormative dynamics. Her past wasn't a hidden vault. It was open knowledge in her social and business circles. The turning point hit when Judy and Brat officially went public with their romance in early 2020. For Brat, a legendary hip-hop figure who had spent over 25 years hiding her sexuality to protect her career in a male-dominated rap industry, this was her ultimate coming-out moment. The public cheered for Brat's newfound freedom. But behind the scenes, within the McCoy family circle, the sudden velocity of this relationship sent immediate shockwaves through the room. LisaRaye McCoy wasn't looking at this through the lens of an online fan. She was looking at it as an older sister who had protected Brat through prison sentences, industry shifts, and financial ruin. LisaRaye watched Judy, a woman with a clear history of dating men, step into Brat's life and completely reshape her public identity, her media appearances, and eventually her entire financial infrastructure. The speed of it all raised immediate questions for LisaRaye about influence, access, and control. The quiet tension cracked wide open on live television during an episode of Fox Soul's Cocktails with Queens. In a moment that stunned viewers across the country, Brat appeared on screen as a surprise guest to wish LisaRaye a happy birthday. Instead of a tearful sisterly reunion, the energy in the room dropped to absolute zero. LisaRaye sat cold-faced, refusing to pretend for the cameras. Right then and there, LisaRaye dropped the brutal truth. She had been completely iced out. She revealed to the panel and the audience that she was finding out about major developments in Brat's personal life, including her relationship status with Judy, through blog outlets like The Shade Room rather than a direct phone call from her own sister. That single moment exposed a massive, unhealed fracture. LisaRaye made it clear that Judy's arrival into Brat's life coincided directly with a physical and emotional distance that had never existed between the sisters before. LisaRaye wasn't attacking Judy's past just for the sake of starting drama. She was pointing out that Judy's integration into Brat's life came at the direct expense of Brat's existing family ties. When LisaRaye publicly referenced Judy's past history with men, she was highlighting what she viewed as a jarring shift in dynamic. To LisaRaye, Judy was a master marketer who knew how to leverage optics, and she questioned whether Judy's sudden transition into a high-profile, same-sex celebrity marriage was entirely genuine or partially engineered for maximum brand elevation. The narrative shifted instantly from a sweet romance to a cold, analytical breakdown of motives. The public fallout was swift. and the reaction was split right down the middle. One half of the audience accused LisaRaye of being bitter, territorial, and unable to accept that her younger sister had found love and built a new family unit with Judy. They argued that Judy's past with men was completely irrelevant, and that continuous references to her previous relationships were homophobic and intrusive. They demanded that LisaRaye respect her sister's boundaries and step back. The other half of the viewing public saw a different picture entirely. They recognized a pattern that often happens when high-net-worth individuals enter existing family structures. Supporters of LisaRaye pointed out that when a partner with a completely different background enters the frame and suddenly takes over management of public appearances, reality show productions, and personal branding, warning lights naturally go off for family members who have been there since day one. The tension escalated even further when WeTV announced their reality series, Brat Loves Judy. The show was pitched as an intimate look into their lives, but the unscripted footage laid bare the exact friction LisaRaye had warned about. Cameras captured real-time arguments over communication, business decisions, and how much access outside family members should have to their inner circle. Every episode aired a fresh layer of family separation, confirming that the divide between LisaRaye and the newly formed household was getting wider by the day. Brat was left standing directly in the crossfire. On one side stood LisaRaye, her blood sister, her protector through decades of industry turmoil, and the woman who had held her down through her darkest days. On the other side stood Judy, her wife, her business collaborator, and the person offering her a brand new life and a second act in the spotlight. Every time LisaRaye spoke to the press, Brat felt forced to make a public statement defending Judy, creating an endless cycle of damage control. The emotional toll began to alter public perception. Viewers weren't just watching a celebrity debate anymore. They were watching a family legacy fracture under the weight of public scrutiny, corporate branding, and unaddressed past grievances. LisaRaye refused to apologize for her statements, holding her ground that she would always speak her truth regarding anyone entering her sister's orbit. Meanwhile, Judy doubled down on establishing firm boundaries, cutting off avenues of communication that didn't align with her vision for her marriage to Brat. The dynamic had reached a point of no return. The question was no longer whether LisaRaye and Judy would ever get along. The real issue was whether Brat could sustain her marriage under the heavy shadow of her sister's warnings, or if the unresolved truth about Judy's past and true motives would eventually shatter the foundation they were trying so hard to build. The standoff between blood and marriage took a sharp, aggressive turn when the confrontation moved from passive-aggressive TV appearances directly to public radio. Brat, holding a daily national platform on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, could no longer remain silent while her sister's words echoed across every major hip-hop blog in America. Instead of handling the dispute behind closed doors, Brat addressed the elephant in the room on live radio, fiercely defending Judy's integrity and making it crystal clear that her loyalty now belonged to the woman she married. Brat's public defense of Judy was a direct slap in the face to LisaRaye. For decades, Brat had operated under her older sister's protective wing. But on air, Brat drew a firm line in the sand, explicitly stating that Judy was her wife, her family, and her future, and that no one, not even her own sister, was going to disrespect her household. She publicly shut down questions about Judy's past with men, insisting that what Judy did before their relationship was irrelevant to the love and security they shared today. Instead of de-escalating the situation, Brat's radio pushback only lit a bigger fire under LisaRaye. Appearing on subsequent interviews and red carpet circuits, LisaRaye refused to back down an inch or retract her statements. She doubled down on her stance, making it clear that her issue wasn't just about Judy's past dating history. It was about the sudden change in Brat's demeanor and accessibility. LisaRaye publicly pointed out that Brat had never hidden things from her in 40 years. Yet suddenly, after Judy came into the picture, basic sisterly communication required going through publicists, managers, and reality TV producers. The internet blew up into a full-scale digital battleground. The comment sections under the Shade Room, Baller Alert, and YouTube commentary channels split into two fierce, uncompromising camps, argued that LisaRaye's instincts as an older sister were spot on. They pointed out that when an outsider enters a family, takes control of the narrative, and isolates a veteran artist from her primary support system, it is a massive red flag. They believed LisaRaye was simply refusing to play along with a manufactured image designed to sell hair products and reality TV ratings. On the flip side, fired back with equal hostility, accusing LisaRaye of being a toxic family member who couldn't handle losing her spot as the most influential person in Brat's life. They pointed out that Brat was a grown, 40-plus-year-old woman capable of making her own choices. They argued that Judy had brought Brat financial stability, happiness, and peace that she had never experienced during her younger years in the music industry. To them, LisaRaye's insistence on bringing up Judy's heteronormative past was nothing more than an attempt to undermine a happy same-sex marriage. Behind the scenes, the production of Brat Loves Judy capitalized heavily on this real-life family breakdown. Contractual obligations and filming schedules forced Brat to navigate the fallout in real time in front of camera crews. During production meetings and private sit-downs aired on WeTV, Judy made her boundaries uncompromisingly clear. She expressed zero desire to repair a relationship with a sister-in-law who publicly questioned her character, her motives, and her history. Judy made it known that her focus was on building her own family unit with Brat, completely detached from the shadow of the McCoy family dynamic. This ultimatum left Brat completely trapped in a psychological vice. Every time she reached out to LisaRaye, she risked alienating her wife and causing chaos in her household. Every time she stood by Judy, she felt the deep, agonizing guilt of severing ties with the sister who had been her rock through her darkest personal and legal battles. The public wasn't just watching a celebrity feud anymore. They were watching the painful, permanent dismantling of a legendary sisterhood in real time. The narrative had reached a boiling point where reconciliation seemed entirely impossible. Both sides had taken their positions on public platforms, lines were permanently drawn, and the damage was done. The entire dynamic shifted from a loud public feud into a high-stakes, life-altering reality when Brat and Judy made a massive announcement that changed the trajectory of their lives forever. They were expanding their family. In February 2023, the couple officially announced they were expecting a child, with Brat carrying their baby at 48 years old. In July 2023, Brat gave birth to their son, true legend Harris Depart. The arrival of a newborn child drew a hard, permanent line between the past and the future, forcing every player in this public drama to face an undeniable reality. The physical facts on record were non-negotiable. First, Jessica Judy Depart had already addresses her past transparently in her own book, When the Shades Come Off, and through multiple solo interviews long before LisaRaye brought it up on air. Judy had never hidden her previous life or her children from her past relationships with men. Second, Brat was legally and financially intertwined with Judy, sharing a joint empire, a reality television franchise, and a child. Third, LisaRaye McCoy maintained a noticeable, deliberate distance, attending no major public milestone events during the peak of the pregnancy and birth, proving the rift between the sisters was absolute. Within the entertainment and hip-hop industry, veteran figures viewed the situation through a ruthless, pragmatic lens. Executives and commentators recognized that Brat's public coming out and subsequent marriage weren't just personal milestones, they were a complete brand evolution. Industry insiders noted that Judy's business infrastructure had effectively stabilized Brat's post-rap career, providing her with lucrative brand deals, executive producer credits, and long-term financial security. From an industry standpoint, Judy wasn't an outsider disrupting a family. She was the architect of Brat's modern second act. Online public perception underwent a massive, dramatic pivot the moment baby true legend was born. The internet speculation that had once fueled began to collapse under the weight of real-life family expansion. Commentators and blog audiences who had previously criticized Judy's past with men suddenly shifted their stance. The prevailing narrative on social media turned against LisaRaye, framing her continued public detachment as unnecessary bitterness toward a sister who was simply building a life and family of her own. The biggest reveal of this entire saga wasn't about Judy's past relationships with men at all. The real, undeniable truth was about power, access, and control. For over 20 years, LisaRaye had been the undisputed matriarch, protector, and primary voice in Brat's personal life. The arrival of Judy, a self-made millionaire with her own established legacy, completely erased that dynamic. The conflict was never about who Judy used to date. It was about the fact that LisaRaye no longer held the keys to her sister's empire. Brat made her final choice not through aggressive public rants, but through quiet, absolute action. She chose her wife, her son, and her household over the traditional sisterhood bond that had governed her past. LisaRaye was left standing on the outside of the very circle she used to run, proving that when money, marriage, and new life enter the picture, even the tightest bloodlines can be permanently rewritten. At the end of the day, the dust has settled on the public radio wars, but the emotional crater left behind in the McCoy-Harris family remains wide open. Brat has chosen her path, building a new life, a thriving business empire, and raising a son with Judy. Meanwhile, LisaRaye stands firm in her boundary, refusing to play second fiddle or pretend that years of sisterly history can be wiped away by a red carpet photo op. This isn't just another celebrity drama that fades away with the news cycle. It's a permanent fracture over power, loyalty, and who holds the true keys to Brat's life. Now I have to ask you guys, who do you think was actually out of line here? Was LisaRaye just playing the role of a protective older sister, calling out red flags she saw in Judy's sudden transition, or did she cross the ultimate line by bringing her sister's private household drama to the internet? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want real, factual tea with zero filter, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss a drop. Because with LisaRaye, Brat, and Judy, one thing is guaranteed. This story isn't over, and the next public confrontation might just be the one that burns the bridge down for good.